Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ruffle and welcome back to a brand new video. Today, guys, we are here with a video where I'm going to do a little bit of a discussion about how Pokemon Switch is going to affect Nintendo's expected 20 million more Switches this year sales. Now, before we get started, guys, I have a few theories in this video, and this is simply just like discussion, speculations, and don't take this as some, like, you know, major news reveal or anything like that. The information you're going to hear is real, but there's also theories I'm going to have, and I'm going to explain which one is what. So the first thing we're going to start with here, guys, is going to be actual, literal, like, real information, and that is that Nintendo expects to sell 20 million more Switches this year. Now, sorry for that actually dropping down, but I'm reading this at Den of Geeks, and also you can go over to Nintendo Live, or even up to My Nintendo News, you can read about there as well, but we're going to read on this one right here, Den of Geeks, and they essentially just talk about what Nintendo aims to do over the next like, fiscal year, which is essentially from, like, March until, like, the next year in March. So essentially, you know, like, essentially from, like, this March until next year, you know, in March as well. So that's, like, their fiscal year, so to say, that they expect to sell another 20 million, right? Expect to sell 20 million more Switches. Not, you know, 20 million in total, but 20 million more. They've already sold 18 million, but they want to sell another 20. Now, why does this affect Pokemon? Well, I'm going to explain it, but let's first read what they have to say here in this article. So, Nintendo expects to sell 20 million more Switches this year. Does this mean Nintendo has a suite of big games coming out next year? Now, this is very, like, I mean, likely. I mean, here's the thing, right? I don't know if these guys actually look at the fiscal year, but, like, the fiscal year would end in, like, March, so that would only be about 4 months into the freaking year. Also, I haven't really fixed my green screen properly, but by the way, shout out to Elgato for the green screen. You guys are fantastic, but I haven't really set it up perfectly, so I do apologize about, like, any potential issues with it. It really should be, I should lower the sensitivity on this thing, but either way, so, what was I saying? Right. So here's the thing, the Nintendo Switch is already a runaway success by just about any metric, but it seems that Nintendo isn't quite ready to rest on the console's laurels. In an interview with Kyoto Shimbun, as translated by WCCF Tech, Nintendo President Tatsumi Kimishima revealed that the company expects to sell an additional 20 million Switches during the 2018 fiscal year. Now, I think he's kind of messing this up, but, like, they want to sell it from 2018 all the way until 2019 in March. That's what they want to do. I mean, I can probably read it off of here instead. Nintendo expects to sell another 20 million Switches consoles this fiscal year. So Nintendo has said that it expects to shift 20 million Switch systems in the current fiscal year, which ends in March 2019. So yeah, that's the fiscal year. It doesn't end in 2018. It's not just, you know, until December or whatever. It's all the way into 2019 in March. That's when the fiscal year ends for them, and they want to have another 20 million sold. Now, this is what, you know, where things get important. But let's read the rest of this article, because I think this one gives you a bit more insight properly than the other one. So, the company has issued this bold projection as part of its yearly financial summary, where it confirmed that that almost 18 million consoles have been sold since the Switch launched in March last year. The company is also predicting that it will sell 100 million units of Switch software across both retail and digital during the same time frame. 4 million units of the 3DS consoles, across the entire 3DS family of course, are expected to sell between now and March 2019, with 16 million software sales. So, this thing is doing insane. Like, it's genuinely doing insane in terms of, like, the Switch. Like, the Switch is doing amazing, and even the 3DS is still selling somewhat, it looks like. Like, the Switch is doing amazing, but the 3DS is still selling somewhat, which is pretty insane when you think about it. But why is this important for Pokemon, you may ask? Well, I do have a theory thing I want to talk about, which, by the way, I gotta give a huge shout out to Darius here, who talked to me. I'll also, you know, link his Twitter down below, but Darius made the intro at the start there, guys, for me, and he's fantastic. Check out his Twitter, give him a follow. Amazing guy. So either way, I have a little bit of a theory later on I'm going to talk about, but this is actual information on the screen right here, guys. This is actual info that you can read in the financial report on Nintendo's website right here, or Nintendo's, like, post, which you can just open up this link and you can read through all the, you know, financial information. This is actual info directly from Nintendo. This is no BS, right? But now, here comes the theory part of mine, which I want to refer to, and this also is going to tie into what Darius and I had a conversation about, but that is that Nintendo, you know, during Kimishima's rule, because, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, but we have a new Nintendo president, Mr. Furukawa, and he's kind of taken over now from Kimishima. Kimishima was an individual that kind of, like, was only supposed to be temporary over at Nintendo. He's only supposed to be the president for a temporary amount of time, about a year, but he ended up being there for 3 years or so, I think. I'm not really 100% sure on that, but about 3 years, which is, like, a huge extension. And the amazing thing about Kimishima specifically is that he was the reason that, you know, Nintendo Switch managed to, like, push forward so much, because he was the one overseeing it and, you know, doing all the important work to keep that project, you know, afloat and making sure it's going to work out right. So that's why he was an important individual. And why is he important for us as Pokemon fans? Because he's one of the few individuals who's always put pressure to make sure new Pokemon products come out. He's put pressure on Pokemon, the Pokemon Company, and also on Game Freak to make new products and push Pokemon further and release more games. So he was an individual that pushed it forward. I don't know if Mr. Furukawa is going to do the same thing, but here's the thing, right? If they're aiming to sell 20 million Switches, you know, in the fiscal year, that means from March this year, right, or April, wherever you want to go from March or April this year, they want to sell another 20 million until the exact same time next year. So literally in a year, in a fiscal year, they want to sell another 20 million. That's what they did last year. But keep in mind, last year, you had ARMS, you had Splatoon 2, you had Super Mario Odyssey, like one of the biggest games last year, and the launch title of the freaking Switch being freaking Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Like, Breath of the Wild was huge. It was a gigantic game. You know, Legend of Zelda is a big franchise. Mario is Nintendo's biggest franchise. And also, like, it's just insane to me, you know what I mean, that they want to aim to outdo themselves, essentially. Like, sell even more this year. But how would they do that, right? How would they do that? Well, here's the thing, right? We only know about one very big game that's guaranteed this year, and that game is Smash. We know for a fact that Smash is guaranteed this year. It's going to be coming this year. We know that 100% because it's already been confirmed. 2018 Smash. But here's the thing. Smash won't be possible to sell that many consoles. Smash can't sell that many consoles. I'm sorry to ruin your little dreams, guys. Anybody out there who's like a super big Smash fan. I love Smash as well. I'm going to be buying Smash. I'm going to be making videos on it. I'm so hyped up for it. But here's the thing, right? It won't be breaking 20 million, you know, sales of the Switch. I mean, of course, they won't just need to rely on games for that to happen, but, like, that's a huge part of selling consoles. You sell, like, exclusive games alongside them, and Smash is exclusive to Nintendo products, aka the Switch is where it's going to be exclusive too. So, obviously, just saying here, obviously, they would want to make sure, you know what I mean, like, to have more games if they want to sell more, and, of course, just, you know, the Smash is going to be there to kind of make sure that, you know, the hype keeps piling up so people will be buying Switches so they can reach that goal of theirs because they want to hit those goals. Their investors are also expecting it now that they're telling them they're going to be, you know, aiming for it. So investors are waiting to see that happen. So why is this a big deal to me? Well, here's the thing, right? If Smash was to sell, you know, a decent chunk, at 10 million copies, right, of Smash sell, really, you know, like this, like really fast, 10 million copies sell, right, you're going to be able to shift about 3 to 5 million consoles alongside that. I give or take, right? But that's 3 or 5 million consoles. And this is an estimate, by the way. We're just estimating that that's how many they're going to be able to shift and sell. But the possibilities for that, you know, being not enough are very huge. So what other games do they have that are big franchise, big names, big games? What are the ones that they have that they can fill in those gaps with? Well, none that are confirmed for this year. We know that there's a Fire Emblem game. We know Yoshi's coming, and I mean, that's the extent of it, right? We know Fire Emblem, and we know Yoshi. But Fire Emblem ain't gonna shift too many consoles. I mean, yeah, it's gonna probably shift a decent chunk, but it's not gonna be something that's going to be a console, you know, seller. It's not gonna sell consoles. It may sell to a few individuals who are very hardcore fans. I mean, I know the Fire Emblem, like, fan base is pretty big, but it's nowhere comparable to Smash, Pokemon, Mario, Legend of Zelda. I don't even know if it's bigger than freaking Metroid. I really don't know, but we know for a fact Metroid is not going to be this year. Metroid is probably like 2019, 2020 or some shit. Like, I don't know. I'm not expecting a Metroid this year, by the way. It's impossible that they're going to release this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll release Metroid instead of Pokemon. But here's my essential theory, right, guys? What I'm trying to get across is that for them to be able to reach that goal of 20 million more, you know, sales in total, for them to reach that goal, they really need to release another big franchise. And what's a franchise that's always sold consoles? What's a franchise that sold the 3DS, that, like, boosted the sales in the 3DS? What's a franchise that's, like, bigger than Smash and also the biggest entertainment franchise in the world? Pokemon. Pokemon is the biggest. Pokemon has to happen this year for them to reach their goal. It could happen early 2019, but why mess that up for themselves? If they release it in 2018 during the holiday season, that just benefits them more. Because you're able to sell more, because more people will be likely to pick one up for Christmas. You heard this yourself, guys, from, like, Masuda. If you guys remember the interview with Masuda kept telling people in that freaking interview, buy a Switch. Buy a Switch. Oh, I can't, we can't wait until people play Ultra Sun and Moon. And we also, with the new game we're making, that they're going to go to the, go and buy themselves a console, whatever, and play it on the holidays and buy it for the holidays during Christmas and whatnot. They kept pushing it because they want to make sure you have one. They want to make sure you buy one so you can play this new Pokemon game because it's going to sell. Pokemon's going to outsell Smash for a fact, especially being the first Pokemon main series game on a freaking home console, ladies and gentlemen. On a home console. Not on this thing. Not on these things. No. On a home console. This thing can play on your freaking computer. On your freaking TV, right? That's why this is important. That's why I'm even bringing this up. Because this is huge. They need to reach those sales charts. They want to reach those sales charts. They've kind of set that as a goal. And if you set that as a goal, you need to kind of have things to, to achieve that goal. And how do you achieve it? Well, you put Pokemon in there, guys. You put Pokemon. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be angry. I'm just saying I'm excited because them saying they want to sell that many consoles just confirms to us that Pokemon must happen this year if they want to reach those goals. Because they don't seem to have anything else planned. And Smash, however big Smash may be, it's not going to sell 20 million freaking units. I mean, they keep selling units every day, right? It's, it's no surprise. But, like, if you want a bunch of people to buy it, you put out Pokemon. You put out Pokemon, and you'll have people flocking to buy it. That's for a fact. And if you do, like, an exclusive thing, where, like, you have, like, a exclusive brand new Switch that has, like, special Pokemon, like, Joy-Cons and whatnot, people will be buying that. The accessories. People will be buying two Switches, so they can trade between themselves, or so they can play both copies at the same time. People are weird, but people will do that. And especially if you increase the price to like 120, like, for $60 per game, people will still pay for it, and people will buy two copies. It's like a gold mine. Like, Pokemon is a gold mine, and obviously you want to release it this year. So I know a lot of people still have, like, the 2019, thoughts and whatnot, but I just feel like it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely because they will be missing out on potential sales. So many potential sales during the holiday season. But we are expecting to see something on E3, and I kind of want to go through what specifically Darius said here. So he basically gave me a little bit of a theory, which pretty much is exactly what I've been talking about as well. But it was thank you to him, by the way, for bringing this whole thing up, because I wouldn't really be working on this sort of video or even talking about this if it wasn't for him. But he kind of mentions here. So here's a theory: with Nintendo fans being crazy in the process of Pokemon, how do fans react if it's a 2019 game? Could this be financially damaging to the company? More so with the Nintendo and the Switch. Does it piss off fans if they bought a Switch off of anticipation for 2018 release? Basically, they have to release this year in order to not hurt the brand. There's so much hype behind Pokemon that it could also swallow Smash Brothers if announced at the wrong time. There's a lot of business aspects nobody even covers when it comes to Pokemon, especially when I think it's actually bigger than any Nintendo franchise with 42 billion. Mario may be bigger, but I don't know. Now, Mario is the bigger game franchise, right? Mario sold more copies in terms of games, but Pokemon is the bigger entertainment franchise, right? Entertainment franchise. How's it bigger? Because it's sold in every aspect. Toys, trading cards, video games, TV shows, every aspect, right? You have restaurants based on Pokemon. There's so much Pokemon-related stuff. It's the biggest entertainment franchise. It's the biggest, whatchamacallit? I mean, yeah, I guess franchise. Yeah, it's the biggest one. It really is. Mario is the better-selling game. Mario sells more. But Pokemon is still, even in the video game section, Pokemon is still, like right behind Mario in terms of best selling game franchises. Then you still have Pokemon pretty high up, on that list, like at number 4 or 5 or something, as far as I remember. It's still pretty high up, so I agree with this. Not with every aspect of this, what he said here, but I agree with this a lot. I don't think it would be damaging for the company if they wouldn't release it in 2019 or 2018. I still think people will still buy it in 2019, but the thing is, it wouldn't benefit them as much, right? It would still be within the fiscal year, it would, but it wouldn't benefit him as much. And think about it, if the Switch game, or rather the Smash game is coming out on the Switch, you want to give them some time between them, right? And if the game is released in September, which is what we're all speculating, because that's when the online features are coming out, if you release the online features alongside, Smash, you're going to sell a ton of copies of the game. The online feature is going to be sold. And also, people will be buying the console who don't have it to play Smash. You'll be winning in every area. You'll be making so much. And then you have a period all the way until like November, December. You have a few months, a little bit of time, so people can build themselves up for the next thing, the Christmas season, when you have Pokemon coming out. And who knows, maybe before that, in between there, you have Fire Emblem or something like that to fill in the gap. And you also do know that we have a Yoshi game coming out as well, so we got that to anticipate. But I think Pokemon is definitely later this year, November, December, around that area is when it's going to be released. I am so sure of that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm going to read the last thing that he sent me here, and that is, I was responding to him and saying, like, dude, I agree with you. I do think so as well, because it wouldn't make sense for them to really, delay it when they could be making more money in that area. And also, Smash won't affect Pokemon. Smash is a different franchise. Pokemon is Pokemon, Smash is Smash. Pokemon is bigger than Smash. That's just how it is. And it's not me trying to bash on Smash. Smash is amazing. Again, I'm not trying to bash on it. But either way, it says here, exactly, but Pokemon is facing huge pressure. Even if the rumors aren't true, Nintendo caused that pressure by saying 20 million consoles. There's no game slated that has the hype that Breath of the Wild and Mario titles had other than Smash. Pokemon will sell 15 million games, which translates to 8 to 10 million consoles. Smash will sell 10 million, which translates to 3 to 5 million consoles. Black Friday is their keyhole to sell Switches. With Pokemon and boom, they win the holidays. PS4 is dying other than Red Dead, and Xbox is just dead even if a Halo title come. Nintendo has perfect timing. In addition to that, Pokemon has kept us so quiet since last year. They're trying to hype up Pokemon. I don't think they're doing that to hype up Pokemon. I think they're just busy trying to make the game and trying to figure out when the right time it is to show off the game, right? Because they probably just want to make sure it's actually working and, it's an actual game before they show it off to the public. But that's besides the point. The video is getting really, really long. It's all just a theory, by the way, guys. So, what is my point right here, guys? I want to go back to what he said right there. Keep in mind, right? So, last year, you had two big games to give people a reason to buy the Switch. So, you had Breath of the Wild being the first reason, and then you had yourself Super Mario Odyssey being the second reason for people, huge chunks of people who love Nintendo stuff and Nintendo games like Legend of Zelda or Mario. You gave them, there was two different areas where people had a reason to go and buy the consoles, and there was two big titles, right? This year, the only big title is Smash. If I was to say Fire Emblem, no, Fire Emblem just doesn't have that clout. It doesn't have that popularity. If I was to compare Fire Emblem to anything, to Xenoblade Chronicles or something like that, right? That's what I would think, to compare it to. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, whatever. That's what I would compare it to. That kind of size, right? Maybe sells 1 million or 2 copies on the Switch. Sure, but that's not enough to move 20 million freaking consoles or 5 million or 3 million or even 1 million, right? I don't think that's enough. So, I don't know, guys. But either way, I want to know your opinions on this, guys. Do you still think it's 2019? If so, give me the reason. Why do you think it's 2019? Based on all the things we've talked about today, guys, why do you think it's still 2019? And thank you so much for watching, guys. My name is Rolf Rowlett. Have a great day. And, yeah, I don't know. Bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good day. Bye.